Hey everyone, it's Fahim again, and we'll be going over part one of circle properties today. So we'll cover radius, diameter, circumference, and area. So what we have here is a circle, right? And this blue piece right here is called the radius, right? And it's defined as the distance from the center to the outer edge of the circle. And this black line is considered the diameter, right? And that's basically 2 times the radius. It's the longest piece from one side of a circle to the other while it crosses through the center of the circle. So D is equal to 2r, right? So if you were to have the radius, you could find the diameter. And if you were to have the diameter, you could find the radius, right? So let's look at a quick example. Say the diameter is 4. You can easily tell that the radius will then be 2, because all you do is divide by 2. If your radius is 3, you can find the diameter because you just multiply by 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. That's it. There's 2 formulas for the circle, and the first one is the circumference. And basically the circumference is the same thing as the perimeter of the circle, right? So it's this edge right here. And there's actually 2 ways of solving for the circumference of a circle, and that would be the circumference is equal to the diameter times what you may know as pi, right, or 3.1415, etc. Or if you replace the diameter with the radius, you have 2 pi r, and both are valid. The best thing to do at the end of the day is, if you have the diameter, you can solve for it, and if you have the radius, you can solve for it as well, right? And the area of a circle is pi times r squared. And that's it. That's the relationship between the diameter, radius, circumference, and area. Now let's look at a quick couple of examples of solving for the circumference and the area. All right. So example set 1. Find the circumference and area of the circles below, right? So you're given in part A the center to the edge, which means that's the radius, right? So the radius is 8. Okay. So to find the circumference, you plug in the equation, which you should have memorized, 2 pi r, or 2 pi times 8, or 16 pi. And that's it. To find the area, it's pi times 8 squared, or 64 pi. Second example, we have the diameter as 12. So diameter is 12. To find the area, remember, you need to have the radius. So let's just solve for the radius, right? And the radius would be, that's right, it's 6. So circumference, we can use either one. I'm just going to do pi d, right? So it gives you 12 pi. Find the area, it's going to be pi times 6 squared, or 36 pi. Remember, it's crucial that you have these 2 formulas memorized. They're not going to be given on the exam. These are just things that you have to know. All right, so for the second part, we're going to look at a couple examples of word problems that cover circumference and area, okay? So example set 2. A goat is tied to a pole by a rope in the middle of a grass field. if the rope has a length of 4 meters, how much area of grass can the goat eat? So if it's in the middle of a field, right, let's just draw it out. So you have a little bit of a pole, right? I'm a really bad drawer, but I'll draw it anyway, right? And the rope has a length of 4, and you have a goat, right? I guess. So if it were to go around, it would be something like this, right? And what does that look like? That's right, it's a circle. So, and this piece right here, that's why it's good to draw things from time to time. That piece right there is the radius. I'll give it some horns. So the radius here is 4, right? And we're trying to find the area. So area is equal to pi r squared, or pi times 4 squared, which is 16 pi. All right, pretty easy. On to number 2. A huge asteroid crashed into the Earth and created a round crater that was 100 pi miles long. What was the area of the crater that the asteroid created? So it's a round crater that was 100 pi miles long. That's telling me that that's going to be the diameter, right? Sorry, not the diameter. It's the circumference. So we're given that the circumference is 100 pi. So if we want to find the area is pi r squared, right? So we have to find the radius. So let's plug in the information. C is equal to 2 pi r, which is equal to 100 pi, right? We can automatically cross out the pi's from each side, and then you can divide both sides by 2. So the radius that you get is 100 divided by 2, which is 50. Okay? Now to find the area, it's equal to, again, pi r squared, or pi times 50 squared, which gives you 50 squared is 2,500. So it's 2,500 pi. And that's it. We've just covered area and circumference of a circle. Again, the equations that we're going to be using are right here. You have to have them memorized, guys. There's no other way around it. You have to have these memorized in order to do well on this exam. And that's it. We just covered circumference and area. So, just to reiterate, these are the equations that you need to know, and you have to have them memorized. Okay? They won't be provided during the exam, so memorize them. D is equal to 2r, so the diameter is 2 times the radius. The circumference is either pi d or 2 pi r, and the area is pi r squared. And one last thing to note, guys, notice how on all my answers, I left it in terms of pi. You usually don't have to use 3.14 unless it specifically tells you to use it, right? So always try to solve and leave in terms of pi. Just treat it as a variable, treat it as x, and that's all you need. Okay, so feel free to look at our other videos. On the right-hand side, there should be a playlist for all of my SHSAT math lessons, and also at the end of this video, I'll have a link to part 2 of circles, which is revolutions. Thanks.